Good afternoon, YouTube. Taming the Tamaskan with you guys today. So, doing something a little bit different. So, we're not going to be really showing much footage of anything with Taylor specifically, but today I just wanted to do a quick video on explaining more about the breeders that you should avoid when you're looking at Tamaskans. So, this is a great website that somebody put together for Tamaskans against puppy mills. Lots of good information on here. They are TDR friendly. They support the TDR register and the breed and the standards that should be upheld. And this goes through a lot of the breeders that you should avoid. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about the details of each specific one you should avoid. I'll hit some key points maybe in some places, but we're going to try to keep this pretty clear and concise, and then I'll have a link in the description below of where you can look at this website, and you can read through all of the problems that a lot of these places have had. All right, and as we see here, the first one that we're looking at is the Tamaskan Club of America. So Tamaskan Club of America just is confusing to people. They only list 2 breeders on their website, and they copy and paste all their information about Tamaskans as a whole. It's just not a good source for information or breeders or anything else, so not a website that you really want to be looking into straight away for Tamaskans. The big one, and this is probably the biggest one on here, is the Right Puppy Kennel, Blue Stang Tamaskan, Yadkin Wolf Den, My Shiba, Loving Pup Resort and Spa. This is actually all one breeder that uses all these different names and company fronts to basically breed Tamaskans and other dogs without being registered. So the big problem with these guys, you can read through this on your own, of course, but they had acquired a couple of Tamaskans. They bred without permission from TDR, and then they continued to breed every heat, and they were not testing for any health abnormalities or anything like that. They weren't adhering to any of the guidelines set down by TDR, nor did they even want to be TDR registered. And then, of course, they were calling their dogs Tamaskan wolf dogs. So they try to kind of label their dogs as American Tamaskans, and there's really no such thing. They've also had problems with hip dysplasia, stomach issues, epilepsy. So in the end, they had to shut down their Right Puppy Kennel website and go by Blue Stag Tamaskan to hide from their bad reputation. So anytime, a company's trying to change their name because they've gotten such a bad reputation for health problems or not testing or just doing not reputable things as far as being a puppy kennel, you want to stay away from that. And they use Blue Stag Tamaskan because that was the name of one of the breed founders, and it sounds legit. So, and I'll read this last paragraph just because it kind of sums up everything we've talked about with them. But as of late 2014, they've started a new Facebook page calling themselves Loving Pup Resort and Spa. Most dogs seen in the photos are enjoying their spa are their dogs. Also, they look at some of their photos. You can barely read on the girl's black shirt, Right Puppy Kennel, or just says Right Puppy there. Would you trust leaving your dogs at a kennel that is overrun with their own dogs and many call a puppy mill? So petition at change.org has been made in the hope of shutting down the large puppy mill. Please visit the site and sign for more information. So yeah, that's kind of on your own if you want to look into stuff like that. But the biggest thing is they're not reputable and they're not TDR registered. So yeah, just go ahead and avoid those guys. All right, so Puppies by Ratliff. So they obtained their Tamaskans from the Right Puppy Kennel, known as Blue Stag. They're located in Shell Knob, Missouri, and are affiliated with the Tamaskan Club of America and continue to work with Blue Stag and using each other's dogs for breeding. So once again, they aren't TDR registered. They aren't following any of the standards. They're getting their dogs from a known kennel. So they're adding to the problem that Blue Stag's already started. Yeah, we'll just kind of read off the last here. Ratliff's been found to lie to some of their adopters, saying that they will retire one of their females after a litter, yet they keep breeding more and more litters out of that female. So just to let you know, TDR requirement is that a female only breeds 4 times, and they can only breed within 12-month separation between the birth, so 12-month periods. So you get 4 litters out of a female, then she has to be retired, and that's the TDR standard. So they're not following that. So Ratliff also claims that they're not associated with Blue Stag or Tamaskan Club of America, yet they still remain listed on their site as registered breeders. And Blue Stag has also recently acquired puppies for them. So, yeah, they're just working together with the other guys for a cash grab on using the Tamaskan names, really what it looks like here. Moving on to Tamaskan Alley. So they're a smaller breeder located in Pineville, Missouri. Also got their female puppies from Ratliff, which is, once again, just stacking onto the problem. And we'll just read that Tamaskan Alley's no mentions of being affiliated with any club or registries, but still sells puppies at registered Tamaskan dog prices and asks for a 50% non-refundable deposit. And they're also known for not doing any health testing as well, so without any proof or anything like that. So once again, they're just tacking onto the blue stag. So South Mountain Tamaskan, Gardner, Pennsylvania. They are husky mixes, falsely advertised as Tamaskans. And also lines from the right puppy kennel, blue stag, once again. They also do not provide proof of any kind of health testing, and they aren't affiliated with any clubs or registries. So yeah, I mean, anytime you see that on any of these kinds of websites, it's probably not legit. So TRM Kennel, small breeder in Cheyenne, Wyoming. So once again, right puppy kennel. That's where they've gotten their husky mixes from. The TRM Kennel is not registered with any registry, including the American Kennel Club, Tamaskan Dog Register, and American Rare Breed Association. Tamaskans are not recognized by the AKC to begin with. They claim that their dogs are registered with the ARBA. They require proof of pedigree with the TDR. So yeah, the ARBA is going to contact TDR to verify registration, which is not going to happen. So yeah, once again, another kennel that you should avoid. All right, so this one's kind of a big one. Blue Stag, Arctic Breeze, Blue Fawn, and Poacher's Farm. So all associated together. This is a mother-daughter team, and 2 of the 4 were the founding breeders of the Tamaskan dog breed from Lincolnshire, United Kingdom. They helped to create the Tamaskan Dog Register, and this is a really long article in here. You can see. I'm going to hit some key points that are pretty big, but this is one that I would probably read because this is one of the founding members. There's a lot of good history in here. A lot of it's also cited from different places, which you can check out in here. But they are the ones that started the no wolf Tamaskan fable, or the wolf dog without the wolf, I suppose. So it turned out that they were lying about some of the breeds that they were mixing in, and the dogs that they were breeding in. They were faking paperwork, and that's how we ended up with a lot of controversy in the Tamaskan world. One of Taylor's relatives from a few generations ago, Jackal, is in here. Jackal was a Czech wolf dog, so that was a big one in there. So he ended up dying later on because of neglect from the breeders, along with they killed another breeding pair by sticking a hose down its throat and drowning it. So there's a lot of things in here that happened that are very shady about these people. They are no longer TDR registered. They were kicked out of the TDR whole thing, even though they were 2 of the creators. So we can see here, this is the fake TDR logo. Didn't highlight that right, but yeah, so that's the fake TDR logo, and this is the real one. So this is an important thing to remember. There's no ribbon at the bottom. It's green, not blue. So those are important things to look at, especially when you're looking at some of their TDR logos and stuff. So I mean, this breeder, we'll just kind of end on some of these other things. They even had a raid by the RSPCA, sorry, in 2013, had dogs taken away. They were breeding without licenses, doing a lot of these things that they shouldn't have been doing. So this is not acceptable in when it comes to breeding dogs and doing things like this. So yeah, I would definitely not look at these guys or any other websites for breeding whatsoever. Oh, Tamaskan vom Nordic, or I don't even know how to say that because I'm an American, so with no outside of the country culturing at all. So vom Nordic left the TDR. He left TDR in 2019, basically not meeting the breeding regulations and codes for TDR registration. So, but they still advertise as having TDR registration and paperwork, so they're lying about their stuff once again. We'll just kind of quickly go through. Basically, in 2015, they lied about 2 breeding pairs. DNA showed that it was a different dog than they were breeding to, different dogs than they were breeding together. In 2018, they were proposing a GST bitch for outcross with a known heart issue who was rejected. They made it her anyway. Though it's going to cause problems. And they used a Swedish stud from a line-prone to SAS. 2019 left the TDR, and then in 2020 they decided to start their own register and found it as themselves as the only breeders, and no cooperation with any other registrar. Yeah, and then they're of course doing other things. So D-litter between Eli and Yukon, a mid-content wolf dog. Parenthood questionable because they're black puppies, which isn't genetically possible if Eli and Yukon are the parents. So they're still doing shady things and still adding in lots of wolf dog. So, and they've got complaints about their facility being dark, rundown, so on and so forth. So at the end of the day, Tamaskan von Bordick, their website, if you go to their website and read it on their website, they'll talk about all their problems that they had with the TDR and how they were limiting them and blah, blah, blah. Basically, they just didn't want to follow the rules or go through the trouble to maintain their standards. So they decided to leave, and it's questionable, right? They're not. They're doing their own thing, and people have talked about health problems, poor hygiene, and other things. This was a quick look at to the Tamaskans Puppy Mills website and the breeders that they've listed in specifically as backyard breeders and puppy mills that should be avoided at all costs. Now, this isn't a comprehensive list. I found several other websites talking about different ones from different other breeders. Basically, Tamaskan's going to be one of those things that's blowing up, I think, in the next few years. And lots of people are going to claim that they're TDR registered. Lots of others are going to say whatever they need to sell you a $3,000 puppy, right? $2,000 to $3,000 puppy. And it's very important to look at these logos, to check with the main TDR page and make sure that they are a authorized breeder. So I used Ottaway Tamaskan, who were authorized TDR breeders. Taylor has all of her paperwork, pedigree, and everything else, so they were awesome. A good breeder like Ottaway, they provide you all the paperwork, where they're breeding, where their two breeding dogs came from, their health standards. They were very excited to provide everything. They were very detailed on who they wanted to adopt out to, and I definitely paid a premium for that, but I couldn't have been happier. The experience with them was fantastic. Taylor has not had any health problems whatsoever, and she's been fantastic. I've also got to see several of the other puppies from the other 3 litters. That's kind of cool. So we've seen a lot of the other Tamaskans, a lot of other parents. They're not hiding anything. We went out to the breeder. They showed us around their property, their farm, and everything else. It was a great experience. They definitely weren't trying to hide anything. They were very clean. They did updates on the puppies daily, multiple times a day. Videos, pictures, whatever else. So that's the kind of thing that you want to look for in a breeder. More beyond just being TDR registered, that's great, but you also have to look for the other, warning signs of, are they being shady? Do they not want to show you their property, et cetera, et cetera. So quick look at puppy mills you should avoid for Tamaskans. I hope you guys enjoyed or found this as useful content. It'll get you to start looking. If you do disagree with this content, let me know. You can feel free to look at all these websites yourselves and make your own opinions. I am not here to tell you who or what to breed or to get Tamaskans from or where. I'm just bringing the information out here that these are breeders that aren't registered with the TDR. Beyond what the TDR believes and the politics that surround the organization itself, I don't really want to get into in this video. But appreciate you guys. Feel free to like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time.